Hey guys, Timothy here, aka FCFan21, bring you the draft recap of the Burn Tower Draft League Season 7? 6 or 7. Let's say 6 though. Pretty sure it's 6. And this season, things are a bit different in the Burn Tower Draft League. As always, we have the Paldean leagues, the Raikou, Entei and Suicune. Last season we had Lugia and Shadow Lugia as divisions, and both were NetDex divisions, but now we also have a Celebi division, which is low tier NetDex. Shadow Lugia has been replaced by Ho-Oh, and we play in the Celebi division, so the low tier NetDex division of the league. We are with 16 coaches in the league, and I was number 15 in draft order, so I was able to kind of cluster my two picks together. And yeah, honestly, I think I can say I've put together a pretty decent draft for this season. We don't have power rankings yet, so unfortunately I can't say, well, I rank this high on a power ranking, but I think I am pretty well able to tell you about why my draft is pretty decent. As well, yeah, I always feel like my draft is pretty decent. But yeah, even for NetDex, which I don't have much experience with, I think we drafted pretty well. My first pick was one of the 9 Mega Pokemon that are in the league, and I decided to pick up Mega Steelix, aka Metal Gear. I've had my eye on Mega Steelix unironically a couple of times so far, because of that monstrous 230 physical defense. So yeah, that thing is basically impossible to take down on the physical side, even with one of his 4 weaknesses. Because of his ground and steel type, he does have 2 immunities in electric and poison, and just a butt ton of regular resists. So yeah, like most steel types, it's pretty it doesn't have all that much weaknesses. And I think with 230 defense, 95 special defense, and 75 HP, this thing can do stay on the field for a long time. But it also has 125 physical attack, and that means it can hit decently hard as well. Yeah, Sand Force in low tier is kind of hard to use because, yeah, weather setting abilities are banned. So if I want to use Sand Force, I have to use Sandstorm manually on this or with another Pokemon, and not my first way to go in a draft. But even without a even decent ability, this thing is still, I think, very hard to take down in low tier. And I can also use Mega Regular Steelix is sturdy, so yeah, not sure why I would want to do that, but still. Yeah, only downside is his 30 speed, but you don't draft this thing to be very fast. You draft this to take a lot of hits and deal yeah, more damage than it takes. Next up is going to be something I clustered together. I wanted yeah, 2 breakers, and I've decided to go for... Why isn't my keyboard working? Well, we have to go this way. Riptide the Alligator. On first looks, it's not all that threatening. 105 base attack, 78 speed is, yeah, not all that great. But the first thing that comes to mind is Sheer Force. Sheer Force makes it so moves with a secondary effect, like Rock Slide being able to flinch, Earth Power having the possibility to lower your special defense. All those moves will get a 30% power boost because of sheer force, at the cost that the effects are nullified. So Rock Slide will never flinch, Ice Punch will never freeze, Power Up Punch won't give you a +1 in attack, even though it's guaranteed normally. Coming from base 105 attack is decent again, but nothing all that awesome, especially with 78 speed. It gets easily outsped. But it also gets Life Orb. Yeah, Life Orb damage gets negated as well because of sheer force. So all of a sudden you have like a somewhere between 60 and 75% increase in power. That's already kinda broken. Give Feraligatr a chance to set up a Dragon Dance, and you are basically toast. So Feraligatr is more of a setup sweeper slash breaker, and Steelix is more of a breaker on its own because it doesn't need much setup. So with two very decent physical breakers or physical attackers, I decided, after waiting a bunch of picks, to dip down into the special pool of Pokemon. And first I decided to pick something up that I've seen being used multiple times, and it always felt very strong for some reason, and that's going to be Boba the Sinistcha. On first glance, again, this Pokemon may not be looking like the strongest mon on the roster. It does have great defense with 106 defense, and special attack with 121 is still pretty awesome. Spadef is decent at 80, and speed at 70 is, yeah, not great, but nothing all that bad as well. It does have a decent ability in Heat Proof, lowering fire types moves by 50%. So basically that fire weakness is back at neutral, so it only has 4 weaknesses in Ice, Flying, Dark and Ghost. But the amount of times I've seen this thing being used as a special sweeper, a setup sweeper, damn, this thing can be very scary against the right team. Basically you use a Matcha Gotcha Shadow Ball duo as attacking moves, with Matcha Gotcha being able to heal back, I believe 50% of the damage dealt by Matcha Gotcha, and have a 30% chance to burn. Shadow Ball, just a great stab option, in combination with Calm Mind and Strength Sap. So you give it like max HP, max defense. With Strength Sap you can lower physical attackers their attack stat, while also healing yourself, and setting up Calm Mind so you can't get hit on the special side all that hard. And yeah, that special attack stat is just on the rise from there. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to use a Sinistcha, and hopefully I can get a sweep or two going with this little guy, because yeah, that's the main plan for this season. I've combined Sinistcha with another great special attack user, and that's going to be Taylor the Meloetta. I've asked Andilius, am I allowed to use both forms of Meloetta, the regular and the pirouette form? And he said, well, we haven't said anything about it in the doc, so yeah, sure, go for it. And basically I got 2 months for the price of 1. To start off with regular Meloetta, with the stats on the left side. 77 in both attack and defense, 128 in special attack and special defense, 90 speed. Is yeah, very decent for a special attacker. Only has the 2 weaknesses in Bug and Dark. And yeah, normally psychic types would be weak to Ghost, but because of the normal typing, Ghost is not doing anything against Taylor. Yeah, there are multiple sets. I can go for like Scarfed Trick, I can go for Coal Mine sets, AV sets, and all work pretty well. But I can also go for a Relic Song set, and after using Relic Song, my special stats drop down to 77. My speed defense is raised to 90. My physical attack is raised to 128, and my speed is also raised to 128. Basically, giving me a Serene Grace boosted physical attacker. I believe it at least gets Ice Punch, but I won't be surprised if it gets to use all elemental punches. It can use Zen Headbutt with Serene Grace, meaning high chance of flinches. And yeah, basically getting this breaker, I want to say, for the price of 1 Pokemon. That's just amazing, and I am very happy to have Taylor on the roster. So Taylor, Sinistcha and Mega Steelix are pretty bulky by their own, but I wanted to bring in a bit more bulk, and I believe my 5th pick first was something else, but I can't really remember what it was. But during Grace I've decided to pick up a Fairy type, and that's not Pepe. Oh wait, Skuntank was... I had a Muck, and during Grace I found out I could pick up Skuntank as a Dark type Pokemon, so because I wanted more Dark resists for the Meloetta and the Sinistcha, and I decided to pick up Skuntank. In regular draft, Skuntank isn't all that awesome. I mean, you can bring it to like 3 games normally, and that's about it. But in low tier draft it's a bit better. 103 HP makes it kind of bulky, honestly. 83 physical attack is not is just a bit above average, I'd like to say. And with 71 special attack, I've seen special sets being run. This gives me my first hazard removal, because it gets Defog, it can set up T-Spikes by its own, and it can switch into T-Spikes to absorb them. And yeah, with the Dark Ground combination, Dark Poison combination, it only has a ground weakness, which I really liked. So yeah, I think this is a very good defensive potion type. That also gave me a bit of a Dark and Ghost resist. Yeah, I made a bit of quite a few transactions, honestly, during Grace, and I can't really remember what my Fairy type was, but I do believe we go to my Fairy type I picked up in Grace now, and that's, yeah, Tulip the Florges. I first made 2 or 3 transactions with things that were left on the board, and all of a sudden I saw someone drop Florges, and I was like, I want that. I don't really have a big special wall. I mean, I have Meloetta 128, but yeah, nothing like a Mega Steelix on the special side, and Florges is something that comes, well, decently close, honestly, with 145 special defense. But Florges gives me so much more than just the special defensive side. I've used Florges before in the CDL, and Florges was one of the better mons I drafted for that team. It's with base 78 HP a decent Wishbasher. It gets defog as well, so I have 2 defoggers on the team now with Skuntank and Florges. But with that 112 special attack, it can still deal a big damage to my opponent's side. And yeah, it's just, I think, one of the better fairy types that was on the board, honestly. So I am very happy to pick up Tulip and use her for this season. Honestly, with all the transactions I made, I'm not really sure what comes next. So let's see. Transgender is back, the Carkle. I've used Carkle now last season in the Burnt Out Rough League with pretty decent, pretty successful, I'd like to add. Carkle by itself is already a pretty decent defensive mon. 90 HP, 90 defense, 80 HP, 70 special defense. Boosted by Eviolite makes it very bulky, honestly. Flame Body is a great tool for a physical defensive mon to burn the special attackers, and yeah, normally it does have its weaknesses with water and ground being 4 times weak, but we have Open Terra for this season in the BTDL. That means you can pick a Terra Captain. We could pick 2 mons with 7 points or below and give it Open Terra. So basically I don't have to worry about those 2 4 times weaknesses for Carkle, because I can change type and all of a sudden you can't really break through this thing. Like I said, it's a rapid spinner. It can set up hazards itself, but it can also be a bit of an offensive set. What about a Terrafire Steam Engine weakness policy set? Basically taking a flip turn, for example. With Terrafire, the flip turn is just twice, it's just super effective instead of 4 times effective. Steam Engine activates, so I go max speed, and with the weakness policy activated, I have decent attack or special attack depending on which route I go. So yeah, the possibilities with Carkle are a bit bigger now with the Open Terra for this season. Next up we have Bolt Hunt, aka Popper, and I feel like I don't have to say much about Popper, honestly. It is a very fast with base 121 speed electric type. Those 90 attacks are, yeah, decent, but it has a way of boosting his attack stats. Strong Jaw for the physical side and competitive on the special side. I can run Strong Jaw with plethora of biting moves. Crunch, Psychic Fangs, Fire Fang, Electric Fang, Crunch, Psychic Fang. Yeah, I believe those are the main 4 for Bolt Hunt. But on the special side it still has some decent dish coverage. I mean, at least it gets hyper voiced at least. So, and yeah, strong competitive makes it hard for my opponents to figure out if they can click defog or not, because if I switch in Popper on a defog, my special attack gets doubled, and yeah, good luck dealing with a fast and very hard hitting special attacker then. So yeah, I'm very happy to have picked up Popper. I know I've had Manectric in the first place, but I believe this one came free as well, so I decided to pick it up as well. Next up is going to be Kadabra, aka Gangnam Style. On the end of the draft I've had quite a few points left over. And yeah, I decided to pick up a hard-hitting special attacker, and yeah, Kadabra fitted perfectly, honestly, in that spot. I've had a bit of a gap between Bolton and Meloetta from 121 to 90. And Kadabra pretty much fitted with 105 base speed. And Kadabra is just like a Alakazam Light version. And Alakazam is honestly can be a pretty hard-hitting mon. Magic Guard makes it so he can only take damage from attacking moves. So things like Poison, Burn and Leech Seed are not doing anything to it. Inner Focus makes it so it can be flinched, and Synchronize gives back the status that is done to it by like Will-O-Wisp or Toxic, and sends it back. The 105 speed combined with the 120 special attack is was just a great opportunity for me to add to the roster and give it a Terra type so it can go. I'm not sure if it gets Terra Blast though, but I can still go for Terra Ghost to boost Shadow Ball. I can go Terra Fairy for that Dazzling Gleam. There are a lot of options with Gangnam Style, and I am very happy to put this not fully evolved Pokemon on the team. And I believe we are, let's see, 2, 4, 6, 9. So that means we have one Pokemon left, and that's going to be Quackerjack the Quaxwell. I had before Quaxwell 2 Defoggers and a Spinner on the team, and I wanted to add another Spinner, so not all the Rapid Spin shenanigans have to come down to Carkle. And yeah, this is a surprisingly bulky water type with Eviolite, of course, because 65 and 60 defenses aren't that great, but with Eviolite it does get pretty bulky, especially for a low tier division. It does not have to be bulky, or my bulky water type, because with Rapid Spin and Moxie it can still be a setup sweeper. So basically use Rapid Spin to boost my attack or speed, take a kill with something that's already weakened, get that Moxie boost, and start sweeping from there. So yeah, I'm happy to have the little general on my team. So looking at the team, I have a small dark weakness, 3 weaknesses into 2 resistances, but I feel like both dark resistances are pretty strong, especially the Florges, so I'm not all that worried. And yeah, Meloetta and Sinistcha can be pretty bulky as well. Only thing I really don't like is my ground weakness, with 4 weaknesses against just the 1 resist. But I have to say, with Carkle being able to get rid of that 4 times weakness and even make it into a resist, I am not all that worried about it. But yeah, I hope no one proves me wrong on that stage. Looking at my speed tiers, I am pretty pleased. I mean, they aren't the best, but it's not the worst as well. And yeah, I hopefully can force my opponents to prep with jolly and timid natured Pokemon instead of adamant or modest. Looking at my attack stat, I have 2 Pokemon with above 100 attack stat. I have Bolton and Skuntank that can hit on the physical, pretty hard on the physical side as well. And given that Quaxwell can be a setup sweeper on the physical side as well, I'm happy with my physical attack stat and my special attack stat. Yeah, I have 4 Pokemon above 110. That's pretty nuts, honestly. Combined with Bolton being able to get a competitive boost and double that special attacks that I'm pretty sad. Two big special walls with Florges and Meloetta. Three pretty decent physical walls with Megastelix, Sinistcha and the Feraligatr. And HP stat is, I feel like, a bit trivial. Low HP but high defenses still makes a good wall in my opinion. So this is the team where we're gonna start off our low tier journey in the Burnt Tower Draft League with. Week 1 I will be playing against Ducky, so I am really looking forward to that battle. So yeah, somewhere next week I will be uploading that battle. I hope you have a good one and I hope you enjoyed, and most of all I really hope to see you all next week. Bye!